me a chance, I would save it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'm waiting. So it's a little hard, you can't shame me when I am with you. There's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be.
El Cajon Pass is one of the most dangerous places for a train to be. This is not only the cause of one, not two, but three accidents. But this is the first one, the 1989 Cajon Pass runaway, and how it all started from the beginning. On May 12, 1989, Southern Pacific 7551, which was traveling east, was making its way towards the Cajon grade. The train consisted of 69 freight cars loaded with trona. The leader of this train was SD40T-2 8278, and an SD45R 7551, another SD45R 7549, and a SD45T-2 9340. Also two helpers, which were SD40T-2 8317 and an SD45R 7443. The crew departed Mojave Yard at 12:15 a.m., headed for West Colton Terminal. A little bit after 7 a.m., they reached the grade. The engineer immediately put on the dynamic braking. Because the speed limit for the Cajon Pass is 29 miles per hour, that's exactly where the engineer wants it. As they're about to approach the downhill of the grade, the engineer also puts on the dynamic brakes. But then, as soon as they descend down the hill, the helper engineer notices something, that the air brake pressure was increasing by 10. And then it started to increase to 45, 50, and then 65. The crew members now realize they weren't in control of the train, they just became passengers on board. And then they saw some houses in the city of San Bernardino, and then all heck breaks loose. The train hits the curve at 7:33 a.m., doing over 100 miles an hour, derailing all 69 hoppers and 4 locomotives, including also 7 houses were destroyed, while 4 were extremely destroyed. Amazingly, despite the lead engine being crushed, the engineer Frank Holland amazingly climbs out the locomotive with a punctured lung and several cracked ribs. The 2 crew members in the 3rd helper unit were lucky to escape, but had serious injuries. However, the other 2 crew members weren't so lucky, being fatally killed during the accident, including 2 people died in their homes. In a total, 4 people died, and 7 were injured. But then more trouble came. A pipe that was operating for gas caused it to be faulty, and a fire started, burning for more than 6 hours, burning more 2 residents alive, and destroying 21 more houses. Because of the fire, 27 out of the 63 people evacuated their house. That means 36 other people stayed inside their house while the fire went on. At 7:41 a.m., 911 calls flooded the dispatcher. But how can this cause such a bad of an accident? What the heck happened? Sleepy crew? Drunk? Or what happened? What was the case of this accident? After months of investigating, the NTSB found that 7551 brakes was just totally dead and not starting at all. Before leaving another yard near Colton, California, the engineer confronted the helper engineer to do an air brake test. But, however, this wasn't the problem either. Some of the few locomotives had another brake problem system as well. 7551 was dead of everything but besides its air brakes. 7549 had traction current but no dynamic braking system. 9340 rather have dynamic braking, but it was limited because its brakes were rather wacky. 8317 was also totally dead and had no dynamics. The only ones that had fully functioning brakes were 8278 and 7443. In addition, Frank Cajon also said that he was having trouble controlling the train, so the best he could just do was just using the air brakes. During the cleanup of the wreck, Cajon did a short inspection on the 14-inch pipe, which caused the fire. Immediately after the rupture, Cajon decided to do a sudden change in the air pumping pressure. It was also said that the pipe which caused the fire was spotted 2.5 feet long away from where the train derailed at. There have been wrecks in the future that have happened like this. The Irvine train wreck, where some runaway tank cars caused the CSX engine to be completely mutilated. Or the Castleton train collision, when a crude oil BNSF train hit a grain train and caused pounds of fire to explode. In the end, 8278, 7551, 7549, and 9340 were all considered a total loss and scrapped. 7443 was repaired by the Southern Pacific and continued its career. However, it was finally retired on March 17, 2000, and was sold to National Railway Equipment, and then afterwards, a company in Brazil named MRS. In addition, it was renumbered to 5313. 8317 was repaired, but later got scrapped in 2013. All 69 hoppers were deemed a total loss and scrapped on site. It's been 34 years since this wreck happened, and is this the end of it? Sadly, the answer is no.